For more great content, make sure you follow 717 Sports Media on all your podcast listening platforms. Also follow us on social media, on Twitter at 717_sports, Facebook and Instagram at 717 Sports Media. We're also checking on our website daily for your daily news and sports videos at 717sportsmedia.com.
Record. Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. Patrick Whiter back again for Around the 717 podcast. My name's Patrick Whiter again, and I got my co-host here, CJ Frederick. I got our fearless leader, Brandon Way. We're back on Zoom this week. We're real excited. We got a special guest. We got the new head coach of Columbia High School football, Brady Mathias, right? Did I say it right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Brady Mathias, how you doing today?
Great, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited. So never been on a podcast before, but I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory. So thanks for having me on, and fire away, I guess.
Coach, you're 20.
Go ahead.
I mean, you've already gotten this question a bunch. You're 25 years old and you're already a head coach, man. What's it like?
Yeah, I have gotten that question quite a bit. You saw in Reinhardt's article, he asked me that, and so has everybody else. But despite being 25, this is my 8th year of coaching. So I got some experience. Now, obviously, I'm not saying I'm the most experienced coach in the world. There's certainly things that I can learn, but I think I'm ready to take on a new challenge, and this is certainly it. And it also helps that I've gotten to know a lot of these kids really well. The community at Columbia is like nowhere else. It certainly is. It's such a unique job. And the opportunity that I have here, to help build the community, to help build some of these kids into what we're looking for in community members and things like that are incredible. So having gotten to know a lot of these kids and a lot of the community members, I think is going to be beneficial. But being in the building certainly is going to help.
Okay, let me ask you. So somebody who you played at Hempfield, okay, and then I know you coached at Hempfield, right?
Yeah.
You think, and then can you talk about the experience of playing there and coaching there? It's a bigger program, but it's obviously been a very pretty successful team. And I know you were on the playoffs, playoff team when you played. Can you talk about the experience of coaching and teaching there and how that can carry you over to Columbia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so coaching at Hempfield, it is a certainly different program, different feel, right? I mean, it's a 6A school. And I think what's going to benefit me the most personally, and I hate to talk about me because, it's a team sport, but, in terms of just the basic thing, like I was on the freshman team most of the time that I was at Hempfield. Now I assisted with varsity here and there when I could. But the nice thing about the freshman team that's going to help translate for me is we had 35 kids. So it's not all that different, in terms of the size of team. And I mean, the football itself is obviously different, but I think that it's going to be beneficial just in the sense of I'm used to having 35 kids on a team, see what we can do with it. And I've really kind of felt that translate, and this would be my 3rd year at Columbia. Hopefully we can just keep the ball rolling. I think that probably, like I said, translates the best in terms of what the similarities are. But ultimately, this is my 3rd year with Columbia, and I've gotten to know the program, gotten to know a lot of the kids. And I think, that's going to be more beneficial maybe than the experiences elsewhere. Not saying that they're not valuable, but, I think that the experiences that I've had with the kids that I'm going to be coaching and the teams that I've, been on the staff with is certainly going to be more beneficial.
Can you also talk about, I know you briefly taught at McCaskey, and now you've been a wrestling coach the last 3 years.
So
you've been at McCaskey and Columbia, so you really got a lot of experience with, in a city environment. So you understand, and you also teach there. So you talk about all those experiences, how they kind of go hand in hand and help you become a better head football coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so the biggest thing is just understanding the kids and what they're bringing to the table. As I said earlier, Columbia is such a unique place, in a lot of different ways. But I guess it's similar to McCaskey in the sense that, everybody's bringing, a whole lot of different things into the mix. So I think McCaskey has certainly helped me to, wrestling specifically over there. I haven't coached football at McCaskey, but it's helped me to kind of understand the dynamics of playing within yourself, or in the case of wrestling, wrestling within your team and not worrying about, the outside looking in. And it translates really well to Columbia, since I've started there, and something that I've noticed even as a high school kid being close to Columbia at Hempfield, it's that idea of, Columbia, or, McCaskey, right? And if you're someone that's there, you're constantly living it. It's really not like that, and the stigma that surrounds it is kind of, something that you can play with a chip on your shoulder, but as long as you're playing within yourself, generally I've found that you can be successful, right? I mean, that sounds super cliche, but I think that's the biggest thing. You can bring the experiences that everybody has, and kind of, it's this super awesome dynamic that you can end up building upon.
That's great, Coach. And now, this coming up is your third year, or were you already on staff for 3 years?
This would be my third year had the staff have stayed. But this was my third year as an assistant wrestling coach at McCaskey. So
gotcha.
I've kind of been back and forth, and I was coaching football at Hempfield essentially all the way through college. I started coaching right out of high school. So that was kind of where I landed, rather than, once I got to college, I was like, I don't know if I want to play. I don't know if I want to play football, want to wrestle. And then one of my high school coaches actually contacted me. Gary Furman was taking over the freshman team.
Oh, okay.
Coach Furman. He said, hey, I've got this position coach open, inside linebackers, assistant defensive coordinator, if you're interested in it. And it just kind of fell into place there. And that's kind of where I started falling in love with coaching. It's such a great thing. You can change the lives of so many people, not only players, but obviously, members of the community, kids in school, everybody who sees your program and can be a part of it. All of those people it can be life-changing for people even outside of the program. So, it's something that I've really fallen in love with, and obviously starting off as a head coach, you got to enjoy it. So, hopefully that'll continue, but I can't imagine it won't. So,
hey, could I ask you this? Have you talked to Footman? Can you get him back for a 5th year?
If only. That's certainly going to be something that, and I think I said it in the article when you guys emailed me. It's going to be tough to replace him. He's an all-state quarterback. It's the reality of high school football, right? You lose kids, you got turnover, kids graduate. It is what it is. We're not the NCAA now, where they get the extra year because of COVID and all that stuff, right? Kids graduate.
I'm kidding.
No. It's a great question, because I've gotten it. How are you going to replace that? And we have some great kids coming back. We really do.
Your skill at receiver is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I think that something that's important for us to understand as a staff and as a team, we have a lot of threats coming back, but we're probably going to have to be on the ground a little bit more. So thinking of ways to get that speed and agility involved, and some of those kids coming back, both of the Diaz brothers, we get Stephen Rivas back, Damari Sims, Artie Poindexter, right? All of those kids are coming back, and we just got to figure out ways to get them involved, because we're probably not going to be able to throw the ball 52 times a game. That's, it just isn't the reality of it, right? With a new quarterback in a new offensive system, it's going to be a little more on the ground, but, with all those guys coming back, I think, we can hopefully get them involved and moving in the direction.
All right. So you brought it up. Okay. See, I'm an old football coach here, so I got to ask you, I know you just got hired, so, things change. Have you thought about OC, DC? Are you going to call one side of the ball, or are you going to more be like a CEO type of coach, or you're still trying to formulate all that?
I think for me, having played linebacker in high school and really loving the game of football, like loving X's and O's, like I'm a big, like I love schemes. I love looking at them. I'm a big defensive guy. That's just how my brain works. So I'll probably call the defense. I'll be looking for a defensive assistant. In terms of offensive coordinator, I've reached out to some of my other coaches in my,
your little circle.
My little circle. It's not a huge circle, it's been local. I've been
future Nick Saban here with his big circle.
Yeah, no, nothing quite like that. But I've reached out to a few people, and as soon as we post the jobs, I'm sure hopefully we can get some. I know we have a couple coaches that are interested in potentially coming back from Bud staff that were volunteers in the past, and I'm sure that they'll put in for offensive coordinator and the other assistant jobs that we have. It's just a matter of getting them posted and getting the ball rolling there. So as soon as we can get those filled, we'll be on our way and hopefully can get out for some late spring ball We've been lifting and things like that, but we haven't really gotten a chance to get outside because right now it's
it's that time of the year. That was going to be my
so,
question: is that have the players known that you were going to be the head coach for a little bit? Have you had a chance to talk to them yet? I know it's still kind of fresh in our minds. So
so the nice thing for me, and something that I was waiting for everybody to kind of reach out in terms of media, because it's been board approved since March. So the kids have known.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I checked the boards. Columbia. Yeah, but keep going.
Yeah. So the board minutes were up March 17th or 18th, I think it was, whatever the last board meeting was. So it's been up. It's been posted. The kids have known about it, and we've kind of, we've gotten excited about it. We've tried to get them in the gym. We had a great basketball season this year. So, a lot of kids coming off of winter sports have started to get in the gym with us that, are returning starters. A lot of the kids that played basketball, are coming back this year. So it's big for us that we now have that ability to get these kids to football, and we're excited. It's there's a little bit of buzz around the program, not because of anything new, but just because the kids are excited, for the season, and our first Eastern. So like that's automatically fresh in their mind because that's where Bud went. So, I got to give credit to Bud and those guys for everything they did at Columbia, right? They turned that program around, and hopefully I can take the keys and keep the car moving, so to say. But
can you talk about your experiences with Bud and just talk about your 2 years together? And, I'm sure, he's a great guy. I'm sure he mentored you and stuff. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the past 2 years I've acted as the first year I was there it was because of the COVID year. It's kind of odd, really. Football season was shortened and all that kind of stuff. So, I came in, I met with Bud, and I actually reached out to him and said, hey, like, I'm a teacher of the building. This is my experience, or do you have any room on your staff? So first year I was kind of a volunteer and just kind of there. And as things kind of moved forward in that, I took a larger role last year with the offensive and defensive line, and just kind of continued to keep growing my coaching experience. At this point in my career as a young coach, not now obviously, but building up to becoming a head coach, I was looking for any experience I could get. So being offensive and defensive line's fine. Like that's I didn't have a problem with that. And Bud certainly has some great ideas, and he's really easy to work with. So I think it was a great experience the past 2 seasons. Really getting that. First and foremost, the idea of what Columbia football is, right? I mean, it's the program, as I said earlier, is so unique, so
that's true.
Coming from a 6A school, I'm like, hold on a second. Like, some of the things that I was like, okay, like we have 29 guys at practice or 24 kids at practice, or last year we played a game against Octorara and, we had some injuries and things like that. I think we had like 24 guys suit up for a game. Like those things
still won.
Yeah, that was a great game, but those things didn't happen at a 6A school. So, going back to the question you asked earlier about what are some of the differences, between the programs, like we never suited up 24 kids. Like that's
right.
Was new to me. So, I think that getting some of those intricacies, even though it sounds like, that doesn't really sound like, football, like that's, real basic or whatever the case may be. I think that those are the biggest things that I took away. And, really, I just think that what he was able to do with a program that was essentially 0-10, I think that all but 0-10. I don't know what the record was prior to him getting there. All I know is that each year, they got progressively better until we ended back, in the district playoffs last year. So like I said, I can't do anything but commend Bud for what he was able to do. I think that he did a great job, and I wish him all the best at Eastern. And I know our kids are excited to play Eastern that first game. That's
Get your popcorn ready, people.
That's week one. You said that's week one. That's not a scrimmage. That's week one.
No,
they always play week one. It's a rival.
Yeah, that's week one. So
They hate each other.
Yeah, we'll be
across the river.
Yeah, and it's home, so we'll see.
Oh, Bud, welcome home, buddy.
That's cool. I mean, Coach, you talked about it in our interview, and thank you for doing that. By the way, it was great. With the merger with the Berks County and Columbia moving down to Section 5, everybody, you're hearing the skeptics saying, "Oh, you're losing Footman, you're losing Collazo, you're losing that great senior class." You do have, we talked about, you have a lot of guys coming back, but going into Section 5, I would think if anybody, you might be the favorite in Section 5, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hate to be the guy that says, "Oh, we're the favorite," especially as a new head coach. I'm not that guy. I'm really not. Like, I'm not going to jump to that conclusion, but we really do get a lot of weapons back. And I think we're excited. The idea of like I said, we have kids that are ready to play football, right? They're coming off of a great basketball season. They know what we did last year, and we're excited to get started. So as a team, I think we're prepared to play, as best of football as we can put out there on Friday nights. But I'm not going to say, yeah, we're the favorite in Section 5. That's, I've never played a game against Schuylkill Valley. I've never played a game against Hamburg. I've never played Kutztown. We've never even game prepped for any of those teams. So to sit here and say, hey, we're going to beat all these teams is just not something that I'm ready to do. Nor do I think I would ever say that. But it's going to certainly provide us a new challenge, a new opportunity. For me, like I said, being a defensive guy, breaking down the film of a new offense and saying this is what we're going to be able to do. I love that stuff, so I'm excited for it. But like I said, certainly hoping that we are the favorite in Section 5, but I'm not gonna put the cart in front of the horse, so to speak. So
yeah, you're polar opposite of what Coach Stokes said when he came on a couple of weeks ago, because he's definitely very excited about, just like you are, but he's a little more cocky, I would say, in terms of the E-Town's expectations. You speaking.
Well, he just said, yeah, he said he had expectations of winning and stuff. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brady. Thanks for coming on, man. And we wish you nothing best. This is Columbia's kind of a fan favorite. CJ was Footman's unofficial agent. Yeah, he loved him, and he was a fun player. And honestly, I had to say with Robert Footman, I had so many great conversations with him too. He was our first guest on this podcast, and then he was just great. And
okay.
But the overall program, we loved you guys. Football was awesome to see. It's nice when you got a program that's been down, and football was down, and you guys build it back up because you're part of it. You were on staff, and you guys built it into something fun, and you won a section title for the first time, I think, in 20 years. Then basketball kept it going.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see the girls basketball and the boys basketball do so well. So it's a school can feed off it. You're there every day as a teacher. You know that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, I said,
that was fun.
Yeah, it's great, and it's really been great for the school community as a whole, whether kids are actively on the teams or just involved in hey, I'm going to the game on Monday night or whatever the case may be. It's been a great time, football Friday nights, kids are like, oh, we're going to the game tonight. Hope you guys win again. It was great keeping the ball rolling. And basketball season, like I said, kids, hey, you going to the game on Monday night, girls game, boys game. All of those things were great. Now, to be honest, I got to throw in some little positives for wrestling too. I think we had 2 kids go to the regional tournament.
Awesome.
Got to throw those in there. But nonetheless, all of our winter sports had a great season. I think we even had some bowlers that made it to the state tournament. I know that's one of those sports that goes maybe unnoticed a little more. But
right,
we had a great winter sports season, and I've seen it kind of translate into our spring sports. Kids are excited about baseball. Kids are excited about getting out there. I have a bunch of football players that are playing baseball for the first time just because they're coming off of basketball season. We're like, I want to keep playing sports. So, being successful, it translates into all the other sports and into the community. Things are going, positive things going on, and continues to build that. So I'm really excited, and I know the kids are excited. And I think a lot of it has to do with that success of our winter sports programs this year. I loved watching our basketball games. Everyone I could get to when I wasn't at wrestling practice or at a match or a tournament, I was there. So, certainly has presented itself as a positive opportunity to continue to watch our sports programs grow. And hopefully, like I said earlier, we can keep that moving in the right direction.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate it. I know you're really busy, got a lot going on. So thank you so much for popping on. And
we're pulling for you, Coach. I got a shirt for you. I'm going to send to you for 717 Sports.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome.
This is a new thing we're starting. So we've been doing a great job, really enjoyable experience doing this. So good luck, and we'll see you down the road. All right, buddy? Yeah,
thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was a blast being on. So I look forward to talking to you guys some more.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats again, man. Well deserved.
Thank you. See you guys.
Take care, Coach. So now we have one job left. That's Conestoga Valley. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
One job left in Lake. We don't know Spring Grove yet. For York too.
What he was I knew when he's saying he was surprised. I was surprised too when I got the message from PA Football News when he posted yesterday. It said March 20th. Usually you can see like the school board minutes. I'm not doing the proper research because we knew about Coach Stokes getting the E-Town job. We knew about Coach Thompson because you could see it on the school board agenda minutes. Like they were on there to be approved as new head coaches. Columbia's, every time I go to their website, I wasn't going to call out a school on air, but it has a big YouTube page. I'm not sitting through an hour of YouTube minutes just to see like who was on their agenda.
Such a jerk, man. You got to do your job.
I know. Yeah, I'm slacking.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, when we got that message, I was stunned, but I think it's a great hire, and like you said, he's in the building.
I tell you, like when we were when I was at York High and we were starting to be good, we had Brandon was there, our fearless leader. We had the head coach, we had the DC, we had another varsity assistant, we had our O-line coach, I was freshman, Brandon was in the building, that's another assistant. And we were all in the building, and like we were really good. We built a strong support, a coaching staff of teachers in the building. And then I've seen it other places too. I mean, you look around the area, I mean, like Han at Manheim Central, he's a gym teacher, and you look at other places, Egger, he's at Hempfield, Evans is at Township, and there's more of Warwick's head coach. I think he's at the middle school. Mannion at LS was middle school, but still they're in the district. So they're, and so, it really does help to have that teacher in the building.
The more coaches in the building, the better. I mean,
yes.
Look
at your dad, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right. But he preached that to me when I was in high school. He wanted, coaches in the building, anything he could do to help them in terms of working in the building. I know Penn Manor personally. Coach Brubaker is in the building. He teaches there, but they don't have many of their other assistants. They're all one of my best friends, Coach Bose, is the offense coordinator. He's not in the building, and that's, it affects them. So you don't know what the kids are doing throughout the day. It's not easy.
Yeah, you're right. It's huge. So him being in the building, plus it's a smaller school, so it's even better to have somebody in the building because he's going to know the community even better. Because, if you're at Hempfield, I can see it's beneficial. But, Hempfield, there's how many kids? So George Akers is not going to know all of them. Like, Brady, Coach Mathias, he might know every kid in that building or close to it. It's not that big a building. He could know. Yeah. He might know at least 2/3 of the kids. You know what? I didn't realize he was a wrestling coach. We should have had him come on in the winter and do wrestling.
Yeah, that would have been ideal. And look at, going back to Columbia, because I think we even talked about on the podcast, they were losing Footman, they're losing a couple of linemen, they're losing Collazo, their outstanding receiver. They're going to come back. And that might not be the case with all those skill guys coming back and, having a coach in the building. He looks like he's already hitting the ground running. And with this new alignment, I really think they might, looking at the Section 5, they might be the favorite. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they would. If I had to pick a favorite for each section, they would be my pick for Section 5. And that's not me showing my Columbia homerism or anything. That's just how I feel. No offense to Coach YAIAA, but everybody in that.
Okay, let's do it. All right, Anvil. Okay, Columbia. This is Section 5.
Yeah.
Anvil, Columbia, Hamburg, Lancaster Catholic, Northern Lebanon, Kutztown, Pequot Valley. So they could be. It's a lot of winnable games in there. Nothing against Lancaster Catholic. I know they're going to be all right, but look at Columbia. Columbia beat last year. They beat Anvil. Do they play Anvil? Yeah, they beat. Yeah,
they beat Anvil.
They beat Catholic. They beat Northern Lebanon. They beat Kutztown, and they beat Pequot Valley.
There you go.
Well, they didn't beat Kutztown. They didn't play Kutztown.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they didn't play
Carrera.
I'm sorry. All right, they beat Anvil, Kelowna. They beat Lancaster Catholic. They beat Northern Lebanon, and they beat Pequot Valley. They didn't play Hamburg. They didn't play Kutztown. So they beat the rest of them. So yeah, I don't know. I got to dig more into it, but you're absolutely right. I think Section 5 is probably wide open. Of all the sections, I would think they're probably the most wide open. Because you think Section 1, you have Cedar Crest, Hempfield, Township, McCaskey, Penn Manor, Reading, Wilson. Right out the bat, the top 3 in Section 1 are
Wilson, Hempfield,
Township, Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Those are the top 3.
Right.
Okay, not even
I
debatable.
would say Wilson and Township right a little ahead of Hempfield, just based on what I see coming back. But that I wouldn't. I'm never.
I don't know. Everybody keeps.
I'm never count out Coach Egger. I'll just say that.
The CEO. Okay, so you want to jump in, fearless leader? We're talking section football real quick.
Yes, sir.
So section 1, think about this. All right, B. So let's do it. Cedar Crest, Hempfield, Township, McCaskey, Penn Manor, Reading, Wilson. The favorites in there are Township, Wilson, Hempfield. Any order you want. I'm not specific, right? Reading's not there yet. McCaskey's not there yet. Cedar Crest isn't there yet. And Penn Manor's not there yet.
Maybe I shouldn't speak on this.
Go back to mute.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
Okay.
We'll talk off air.
Okay. Section 2. Conestoga Valley, Exeter, Governor Mifflin, Lebanon, Manheim Central, Muhlenberg, Warwick. So the favorite to me, the favorites, the lead favorites are Exeter, Mifflin, and Manheim Central.
Exeter.
And Warwick.
Exeter is my pick in section 2. I know all those kids they have coming back. Mifflin
lost
Warwick,
a lot.
Yeah, Mifflin lost a lot. Central's going to be, they're going to be darn good, but Exeter.
Warwick's still there too. Don't count out Warwick.
Yeah. But Exeter kicked their butts.
My top 3 would be Exeter.
Exeter
Warwick,
destroyed
Central.
them in the playoffs, and they got a lot of those kids coming back. I would expect Exeter to make a deep run this year.
Yeah, they got the kid. They got the Joey Schaefer, I think.
Yep.
The kid's going to Penn State. They play him at wide receiver because he's going to go to Penn State as tight end. He was not an inline blocker. They put him outside. It's like 6'5". They just throw him the fades and slants and stuff. But yeah, he's going to be a tight end at Penn State.
Yeah.
So
that's a loaded section.
Yeah. Well, I think 4 is the most loaded. All right, section 3. Daniel Boone, E-Town, Ephrata, Fleetwood, Garden Spot, Solanco, Twin Valley. This is I don't know who the hell, because, of all those teams, Daniel Boone, I don't really know much about. E-Town, okay, and we got our guy out there, but still, they haven't been great. Ephrata's been solid, right?
They have Weidman coming back, and Weidman's getting a lot of Division I looks. So
Ephrata might be the favorite in there.
It could be Ephrata's year finally.
Maybe Solanco?
Yeah, I know Solanco really struggled towards the end of last year. I don't know if that was more injuries. I'd have to look more at their senior class or their class and what they have coming back. But they've had some nice runs. That'll be interesting to see. My pick would be Ephrata, though.
Probably Ephrata, and then I take a sneaky team's Garden Spot. Like, they haven't been bad, and now they're going to play.
They came along late too, and they got some guys coming back too. That's another. That could be a good pick there.
Section 4 is absolutely loaded.
Yeah,
I think it's the best section. Berks Catholic, always good. Cacalico, always good.
They're going to come
Conrad
back.
Weiser, they're usually pretty good, decent. Aren't they pretty decent?
Yep.
Donegal, they hang in there.
No, Donegal's good. Donegal's going to be good too. They got a lot of guys coming back from that district team.
Elko, they're not bad. LS,
loaded.
Octorara, poor Octorara.
Octorara made districts last year.
Okay, all right, hang on, I'll get to that second. And Wyoming. There's a little bit different from playing all the Section 5 teams, and now you're playing Berks Catholic, Cacalico, Conrad Weiser, LS, and Wyoming. That is absolutely loaded. Look who made playoffs last year in that section. Berks Catholic made it. Cacalico made it.
Donegal made it.
LS made it. Octorara made it. Wyoming made it. Every team made it, but Conrad Weiser. They might have. I don't know if they did or they didn't. I don't know Berks. I got to get into Berks more. But still, that's impressive. That's the best section. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is ridiculously loaded. I wrote about. I can't wait to watch LS and Wyoming and their rivalry that's going to start up here in these next few years.
Woo!
That's just going to be must see football. I mean,
now let's go back to Section 5. This is where we were talking about with Brady. So you got Anvil, Kelowna, Hamburg, Linkster Catholic, Northern Lebanon, Kutztown, Pequot Valley. This is the I don't know because I don't know anything about Hamburg and Kutztown. I think Catholic will benefit moving down to Section 5. I think Columbia lost a lot, but they got some good players coming back. Northern Lebanon was decent last year. So I don't know. That's why I don't. Pequot's got a new coach, Choi, who was their old coach. Now
the second stint. Yeah, he's coming back.
So I don't know on that one. I would probably say Columbia Catholic. And then I might say Northern Lebanon because they won some games last year a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, that's kind of the I don't know section. My pick would just based on they have coming back would be Columbia, but a long way to go. It's only April 6th?
Yes,
April 5th.
That was great having him on. It was true. He was a long-term sub. He's got. I was going to ask him. I don't know if I should. He's got the funniest future father-in-law or father-in-law. Him and his fiance, wife, girlfriend, whatever. Is a teacher at McCaskey. Funny guy, Mr. Lawrence. Oh my God, he's so funny. Anyways, it was great having him on. I'm so happy. Wish him all the success. And CJ, are you going to get some money for being the Columbia agent?
Yeah, I'm waiting on that. Keep buying these shirts, so I better. Now Columbia had a fun year. It was fun to watch, but they do have a lot of guys coming back, so I'm sure I'll be out there a few times this year, and we're gonna have a lot of coverage. A lot of new rivalries are coming about with this Berks County merger that people don't know about yet. LS, Wyomissing.
Yeah, lots of rivalries. You're right. Okay, our fearless leader. You want to jump on?
Sure.
Okay, so our Brandon Way is our founder of 717 Sports, and he's also a head track coach at York High. So I'm gonna go run through some of your meets and anything else you heard in York Adams League. Give us any.
You gotta get both leagues, both
York
counties.
Adams, Coach Hibbs, if you're out there somewhere, I love you, buddy. I won't forget the Adams. The YAIAA, right?
YAIAA, yes.
I feel like in Canada, Yeah, they say that in Canada.
Yeah, you gotta watch those jokes nowadays, man.
You can't say
We live in sensitive times. It's a sensitive world out here.
Oh, you can't make fun of Canadians. What are we doing in this world?
I'm not saying it. Patrick's words are words of Patrick Wider and not of 717 Sports.
But I'm employed at 717 Sports.
He singled you out.
I'm the podcast guy. Okay. All right. So so you had a try meet with McCaskey and you had a try meet with Redding. Can you talk about your experiences there? Can you talk about McCaskey? I know it's your old alma mater and how good you think they're doing in LL, and what about Redding?
McCaskey should be pretty good again. I mean, they're good in every aspect. I mean, we had Jennings on here 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're loaded. They're dominant in throws area. They have good jumpers. Forget the kid's name, but I think
Troy Johnson.
Yeah, Troy. I think he got out at 6'4" at our meet.
That's really good for this early in the year.
Yeah, so he got it going. They got some decent sprinters. So there'll be enough. They're gonna be tough. They're gonna be a tough out in section 1.
You took some positive. I mean, you guys battled though overall. I mean, you're obviously outnumbered in terms of men, but you took some positives out of the overall meet though, didn't you?
Yeah, we competed in the spots that we were able to compete in. So like our sprinters are just as good as McCaskey and Redding. I think we're going to be good if we can keep it together all year long and make it to May. We'll be fine. We have some decent sprinters.
Can you talk about what about Redding?
Redding had a bunch of kids, man. I was surprised. It might have had just as many.
It's like
as
the
McCaskey.
biggest school in the District 3, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's track.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they run track or
True,
play
I'm
track,
just
as you
asking.
always said.
Like it's for example, like we have a meet this weekend. The Pan Ram. It's a big meet, Central Dauphin. It's held at Central Dauphin High School. New Balance sponsor, and like I have 4 kids. I have 1 kid going to a 7-on-7 football. He's not going to be there. I have another one going to. I have maybe 4 or 5 that got AAU basketball games, so they're going to try to run back and forth. It's just a different world. And I'm sure Redding's dealing with that too. I know they're a basketball first school right now, so it's nuts.
Yeah.
And what do you what meets do you have this week? Did you already talk about that? What dual meets do you have this week?
We have a bye week this week. So
Oh, that's right. You have the bye week.
shout out to our girls junior high program for the first time in at least 4 years. They won a dual meet today against Brooks Suburban. So that was
There
fun.
you go.
Oh,
Positives, coach.
Watch out next year.
Yes. So we are looking forward to. We're piecing. We got some pieces coming. If we get numbers, we're going to be competitive. But we got some pieces coming up that's going to help us out.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for the Bearcat Track and Field program. We're piece by piece, brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach, what are your thoughts on them? Like, what are the overall like coaches and now the Berks LL League? Like, what like in your coaching circles? What are their thoughts on the merger?
Like it's interesting because a lot like we like the smaller things involved. Like I'm at a smaller Catholic school where it's like it's going to be hard for us to travel like to some of these meets. It's hard to find bus drivers right now. So like you might be taking vans to football games, which is crazy. But just having that level of competition coming in because the Berks is rolling right now.
Right.
With some of the teams they have. And they've been slept on for a long time. Like I remember, back when we were in school, CJ, only 4 teams made districts. And it was, a team from Lancaster, a team from York, a team from Reading, and a team from Harrisburg. And we never paid attention to the Reading team. Like that was like a bye week almost for it. Unless you got Reading. But now, I mean, they're loaded. They're loaded with Mifflin, Berks Catholic, Exeter. Like they're top teams down there. So it's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to be a part of, and it creates a big old mega conference. So districts are gonna be interesting now too, playing like everybody playing together. So it's gonna provide more scout film and everything else of that nature too. We don't gotta go hunting as much.
I hope Octorara gets the best bus drivers money can buy because they seem like
they're pretty far. You're right.
They're far as it is now. Like they're basically at the beach. They're high school, and now they're gonna have to play like
let's get the beach.
Well, they're gonna have like two? They're gonna have to have early dismissals for these 7:00 games to get on time.
Definitely, like they just joined us. Well, I think this is their 4th year now with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and they came down here because they said they wanted more competition, and it was closer. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where they were traveling to before, but that's like
where were they traveling to? Like Wildwood? Like
No, they were over in Chester, wasn't they?
Yeah, that Chester County, whatever that.
They were in Chester, and then they joined the LL.
Chestmont League.
Chestmont League. I don't know.
Yeah, they were in the Chestmont with Coatesville, but they were in the smaller division.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they've still been pretty good. I mean they were good last year. They a nice quarterback. I'm not sure if Stoltzfus is back or not, but he was a good player. But I hope they get great bus drivers. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
It's a weird location, but they get good kids. Like they get good athletes out there. It's just weird. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
Do you see like with Section 1 with Reading coming back now? If people don't keep up, Reading has not been the same since we've been in high school. Who do you think has? Somebody asked me who has a bigger challenge, Coach Thompson at McCaskey or Coach Troy at Reading?
Both.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've gotten that question a few times since I did Coach Troy's interview.
But here's the thing. Okay, here. I know this is crazy. I know B-Way, BPC. I know you were McCaskey. You were part of a great program, and it was different back then. Here's why I think it's an advantage for McCaskey and Reading. They used to play non-conference, McCaskey and Reading, right?
Yes.
So when I coached at McCaskey, because I coached her for 2 years, we were 2-0 against Reading. Okay, and then Reading, Reading won London's first year, right? And then his second year. So they won 2. So like whoever wins that game's big because it gives them a win. So now that whoever wins that game is guaranteed a section game to win because it's kind of hard for either to win a section title. They're both struggling right now. So now you get an extra non-conference game against, maybe you could schedule somebody that's more winnable.
Yeah, I mean that could help.
So I don't know anything about Reading. I know McCaskey's going to have a hard time. Kids are kind of transferring out. It's they've had. It's not Coach Thompson's fault. I mean, he took over interim. They had COVID interim. London was barely there, and now they're on another head coach. I mean, Thompson truly should probably get deserves 4 or 5 years to kind of turn it around. So I think both are going to struggle in that section. It's Township, Wilson are probably the top two, and then Hempfield's right there. So, and then Cedar Crest is okay, but they have a hard time. Cedar Crest, it's really the top three, and then Cedar Crest, even though Cedar Crest beat Hempfield, Cedar Crest and Pitt Manor are probably more in the middle, CJ.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom, you got Reading and McCaskey.
So you guys think Hempfield is in a class with Township and Wilson?
I think it depends on year to year.
I think in terms of next year, I think it's Wilson and Township as my prohibitive picks for favorites, and then Hempfield right there, but not quite. Like, I know they have a really good freshman class, but they're losing Harbaugh, they're losing Aker, a couple other guys in the line. I mean,
Well,
but I would.
Go ahead.
No, I said I wouldn't. Like I was saying earlier, I would never count out Coach Ager in anything. I mean, they had to beat.
I mean, I'm going to tell Coach Egger that it's going to go on his bulletin board. That's CJ Frederick. That was not Patrick Wider. My buddy Eric Spencer was on staff, and he thinks he thinks they have a potential to be better next year. It's horrible. They're going to probably take that. They're going to take who's the kid that was running back? He was a backup quarterback, running back.
Yeah, no, he's not bad. I know who you're talking about.
They're going to slide him to quarterback, and he's like Harbaugh. He's a runner, thrower. So I think Hempfield's going to be right there. I don't know. I would believe with Hunter Johnson. Great article, by the way, on Hunter Johnson. Hunter Johnson coming back. Township. Like, I have a friend that coached there. Hayden, sorry.
Yeah, thank you,
though. By the way, who thinks that their sophomore class is loaded. So I would not be surprised if they if Township's really good again. I agree with Township Wilson. Section 2, I mean, I think Central's going to be fine in there, in Section 2.
Aiden Johnson's tearing it up right now in the 7-on-7 scene.
Yeah, he tagged us too. He's a great kid. Plays for the Cam boys. He's got his brother Tyler Johnson's one of the prominent assistants on staff. He's working his way up the coaching ladder too. Look out for his name, but that's obviously a big help. And Coach Evans has done great things there. So but Wilson's going to be there obviously, and they got Cam Jones coming back. He's already getting major Division I looks. They got this Jack Dendel kid. He's a stud lineman. Wilson's going to be right there.
And they had a slow start, so they're probably playing with a chip on the shoulder anyway.
Absolutely.
Yep, I agree. All right, B. Let's get back in a little more track. So this weekend, where are you going?
This weekend we'll be at the Pan Ram Invitational. It's a big week for Invitational. I know Coatesville's having their Invitational too down there that way. So it was a big decision to make to what Invitational to go to.
Where's Pan Ram at?
Pan Ram is in our area. It's ran at Central Dauphin. There'll be a bunch of schools from our district in there for the most part, and you might get a couple teams from down the Philly area. And Chestmont, well, Coatesville's tournament, you'll see a lot of the Chestmont League and not tournament, but invitational. You'll see a lot of more Chestmont teams and Lancaster Lebanon. I think McCaskey's going down to Coatesville's tournament. I mean, invitational.
Hey,
Yeah, I think he said that.
Real quick, shout out to Logan Moyer. All year's been great coverage. You don't see him as much now because he's playing for the LS baseball team, but he was just at the LL All-Star game tonight, coverage for the site. McCaskey's Hassan Williams was the lead scorer, 19 points. The white team beat the dark team. That was their names, 127-115. But shout out to Logan.
Yeah, I wonder how they divide teams up.
What? Why don't you go north, south, or something?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's more about it. No, Logan did a great job for us all year. He went right after baseball practice over to Hempfield High School to cover the All-Star game for us. So we'll miss him. He's going to be back bits and pieces throughout the fall, like maybe during a couple of breaks, but he did a great job for us.
Okay.
Man.
That's awesome. All right, let's jump into this little track then. I put up the top 10 times, like you said, Coach Way.
Yes.
Okay, so top 10 for girls. Friend of show. Can we call her friend of show?
Definitely
Layla Campbell. She ran 11.75 in the 100 so far.
In March.
In
blistering,
March,
in
as
cold
a 10th
weather.
grader.
Insane.
Yeah. We haven't had any heat yet. So, she's different.
And then over her and the boys, Wright Phillips, West York ran 10.8. That's flying.
Wow.
Yeah, Nico's a good kid. I saw him last week at the suburban relays, and he ran well there. Anchored their 4x1, anchored their 4x4, and anchored their sprint medley where he almost ran down the state champ in the 200 from Dallastown. I can't think of his name right now. Christian something.
Oh, awesome.
Richardson.
Wait, are you from Warwick or you or
No. This guy's from Dallastown, state champ.
Oh, I forget his name too. It's not Johnson, but he's running for them too, right?
Yeah, Kenny ran well too at that meet.
And
Yeah.
then
He's the real deal. He looks like a Division I football player.
Oh yeah, he has time to do that. He doesn't have time to do interviews. I'm just saying.
You gotta tag him in that.
I know.
so what I feel so bad. What's Layla's brother's name? He's got the second best time in the 100. It says C. Campbell, Spring Grove, 10.9 in the 100.
I think it's Chris.
Wow, that's so impressive. It's so cool to see Campbell and Campbell.
Like they're rolling. And we had their dad on, great coach.
Yeah, he is.
So their whole team's rolling right now. They're going to be around in May.
Yeah. So then in the 200, you got Chris Campbell again, 22.39, and then they got P Dab for Spring Grove, 22.99. So they got the best two times, and then Chris is the top 400 kid, 50.9. God, that's pretty good in March, right, B?
The YAIAA is riddled with some gems. And I know that they get talked about for football and not win that much in football, but in track, I mean, we got some kids that can go.
Yeah. I mean, even I go down to the 800 meters, C. Perry from New Oxford. I mean, 2 minutes and 60 seconds. Jeez. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like we have Southwest next Tuesday. I think they have the second fastest kid in the league right now in the 100 or the third. And
Southwest.
Yeah, and they also won the
Putman.
Yeah,
11 seconds.
And they won the count. They won Section 1 last year too.
So is yours Jay Hunt?
Yeah, Jay Ron Hunt.
Yeah, he's 8th. He's tied for 8 at 11.6.
Yeah, and he'll definitely go faster. That was in a crosswind. He's gonna run some good times. And Amaj Walker, football player. He runs
good football player.
Yeah, he ran the 200 this past Tuesday, and he won.
Yeah, 23.3. It says 4th best.
Yeah, that's a great time. He ain't run track in 2 years, so I'm excited to see what he does too.
Okay. All right, so we get a little track talk there. That's good stuff. Keep you updated on all that.
Yes.
All right. So let's do this. Let's end with my favorite segment called Traveling with CJ. How you doing, CJ?
We don't got our special sound effects outside the studio.
CJ, where'd you travel so far?
So far, the spring, being a difficult schedule with my full-time boring job. I did Cedar Crest.
Listen to the podcast and they heard that.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I'm going to a trade show for them tomorrow. They'll be fine.
Where's the trade show at?
Harrisburg.
Nice.
Yeah. But I did Cedar Crest McCaskey baseball Friday night. I enjoyed it in the sense that McCaskey's baseball field is a lot nicer than I thought. I mean, and there are no lights. There are not many teams in the LL, even though it's really good baseball, have lights at their stadiums, or at least they don't use them. And maybe they do later in the year. I mean, I was freezing. My hands were numb. McCaskey's, really, we had a great interview with Coach Vega. Shout out to him. But they're really going through it. A lot of errors, a lot of walks from the pitchers. They pulled their their starting pitcher after 2/3 of an inning. And Cedar Crest, they got some players. Jay Huber's a nice player. Their pitcher, Bailey, what's his name? He's solid, but Cedar Crest is the middle of the pack in Section 1. So McCaskey's going to have their struggles in baseball after Coach Horst left. But this week, tomorrow night, big lacrosse game, biggest in the county. I'm going out the Conestoga Valley. They welcome Lampeter Strasburg. Both teams are undefeated, so that should be fun. And then Thursday, as long as I have enough coffee, I'm going to go over to Penn Manor for their volleyball game against Cedar Crest. That's a good matchup. Two good teams in volleyball.
Nice. My son played lacrosse last season, and he played against LS, and they were like a machine.
Yeah, they're like in everything else, they're undefeated and loaded. And Conestoga Valley's having a nice run. They're one of the few not quite original teams when lacrosse came to the LL, but they've been around a good bit. So is LS. And it should be a good matchup. Hopefully Walk's there, because I know he covers it for the paper. I'd love to see him. I haven't seen him in a bit.
How can LS be good in baseball and lacrosse? Like, don't they
even track? I mean, I know they're undefeated. It's early, but they're undefeated in every spring sport, I think, right now.
That is nuts. How you got that many?
Insane.
They're good in fall. They're good in winter. No, Mr. Deerdorf. Shout out Mr. Deerdorf. You remember him from McCaskey? His daughter was on the soccer team.
Yeah.
And his daughter's actually playing college soccer at Kutztown.
Nice.
Shout out Mr. Deerdorf, great guy. Anyways, he said it's unreal there. He was blown away. All his kids went there. He had 4 kids and they all went there. And he just said the amount of talent and the amount of commitment from his first son, his first kid was son, through the last kid. He said it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just like they're probably in like perfect niche because they're not with the big boys, they're not with the townships, and they're right down below that. And it's probably like the perfect niche of like nice area, commitment, and everything. So it is incredible. Like they're so good in all sports.
Yeah, that's the commitment point with LS is that's really needs to be touched on, because I mean, like if you drive through Willow Street, Lampeter Strasburg, that district on a Saturday, you'll see a lot of kids out regardless of the weather, whether it's shooting hoops, playing catch, throwing the football around. They're not inside playing Tecmo Bowl or playing whatever the newest video game is all day long. Those kids, I mean, there's a huge commitment within that community, from the families to the kids, and it starts from an early age. If you drive through that area, you'll see, and it doesn't surprise me that they're good in everything.
Well, B, I remember, not to bring it back bad moment, but remember we went there and coached against Catholic. We were coaching on Catholic together. I was blown away by their facilities. I'd never been to LS. Their athletic facilities. They had the football field, and they got a turf field behind them. Then they had another field for the soccer. And you told me that it was like, I think you and Marino were telling me, like, it used to be the worst, right? They had a horrible field. It was like draining weird, and their facility. And I always say this: if they build it, they will come. Like if you have nice facilities, that's a hidden thing that people don't think about. Their facilities are really nice, so I think that helps as well. So. Yeah, they got it rolling, man, and good for them. That's a good program. In basketball, we talked about how much, traditionally they haven't had a lot of success, but that that they did have a lot of success this year, but prior to that they did not. So it's a great program in all areas, and they're just tearing it up.
Yes, when you talked about facilities, I know you heard the new facilities coming to York High too. So if they build it, they will come. So hopefully you guys will come.
Yes, I agree 100%. Like we got to turn this around. So I agree. So, all right. I think that's good. I think we're in there. Coach Way, thank you. Good luck at your invitational this weekend. And we'll touch base with you again coming up soon. Thank you so much to our guest, Brady Mathias, the new head coach at Columbia High School football. Okay. Awesome for them. Coach Bud's moving on to Eastern York. Can we call that the Bud Bowl week 1?
Well, that'll probably be a little disrespectful to Coach Mathias or whatever.
I know. I'm just saying he's going back home. The Bud Mathias Bowl?
I have a rumored coach at Spring Grove, but I think I'll wait till next week to announce it.
Okay. Well, maybe off air you can tell me. Okay.
Stay tuned next week.
Okay. Stay tuned to 717 Sports. Do your plug, buddy.
Yes, make sure you guys tune into everything. 717 Sports Media. Check us out on the website with articles dropping daily. And make sure you check out all of our podcasts. With more coming, we're thinking about having a junior podcast where we get some kids to talk about some national sports and so that's in the mix too. So we got some stuff coming for you. Staying busy and make sure you catch all your news locally right here at 717 Sports Media.
That's our fearless leader, CJ. Parting shots.
Shout out once again to Logan for all of his coverage this year. We really appreciate it. He was at the All-Star game tonight, so really appreciate all his work. We appreciate Colin Richardson, who's coming back on for the fall. He's going to rejoin us in the summer. He's on the Hempfield baseball team. I'm in constant communication with him. Really appreciate him. But yeah, give me a follow tomorrow. I'll be at Conestoga Valley for LSCV in a big lacrosse matchup, and then Thursday at Penn Manor Cedar Crest volleyball game. Give me a follow on Twitter at Carl J. Fred for all the best coverage in the county.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Check out all our stuff at 717 Sports. We'll check you next time.